A long time ago, in a quiet village called Goma, life was simple and happy. The villagers lived close to nature, surrounded by lush forests and flowing rivers. They worked hard during the day and celebrated life with music and dance at night. Drums were the heartbeat of their village, used in every festival, ceremony, and gathering. The drum beats united them, filling the air with joy and energy. One day, a group of hunters ventured deep into the forest, searching for food. The forest was vast and dense, with towering trees and thick undergrowth. As they walked deeper, the usual sounds of the forest, birds chirping and leaves rustling, disappeared. Everything became eerily quiet. Then suddenly, they heard it. A soft, steady drumbeat echoed through the trees. The hunters stopped, looking at one another in confusion. Who could be playing a drum this far into the forest? There were no villages nearby, no signs of people. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to follow the sound. As they walked, the drumbeat grew louder, pulling them deeper into the woods. Finally, they entered a small clearing. In the center stood a drum. It was enormous, taller than any of the hunters, and unlike anything they had ever seen. The drum's surface was smooth and polished, reflecting the sunlight. Strange symbols were carved all over it, glowing faintly as if alive. The drum seemed ancient and otherworldly. One of the hunters, a man named Kibo, stepped forward. "This is no ordinary drum," he said, his voice filled with awe. "It must be a gift from the gods. We should take it back to the village." But the other hunters hesitated. Something about the drum felt wrong. The air around it was heavy, almost suffocating. "We should leave it here," one of them whispered. "This drum doesn't belong to us." But Kibo laughed and waved off their concerns. "It's just a drum. Imagine how happy everyone will be when they see it. This is a treasure." Ignoring the unease of his companions, Kibo lifted the drum. Strangely, it was light, far lighter than its size suggested. He carried it back to the village, while the others followed reluctantly, glancing over their shoulders as if they expected something to follow them. When they arrived in Goma, the villagers were amazed. They gathered around the drum, marveling at its beauty. Children ran their hands over its smooth surface, giggling as they tapped it to hear its deep, resonant sound. The women admired the intricate carvings, while the men praised Kibo for his discovery. The drum became the pride of the village. But not everyone was happy. Mama Juma, the oldest and wisest woman in Goma, felt a deep unease. She was known for her knowledge of the old ways and her ability to sense things others could not. When she saw the drum, her face darkened. "This drum does not belong here," she said, her voice trembling. "It carries a darkness with it. It was left in the forest for a reason. You must take it back." But Kibo dismissed her warning. "Mama Juma, it's just a drum. Look at how happy it's making everyone. This is a gift, not a curse." The villagers agreed with Kibo. They placed the drum in the center of the village and decided to use it during their next festival. Mama Juma, however, remained uneasy. She watched the drum from a distance, her heart heavy with dread. The festival arrived, and the village was alive with excitement. People danced, sang, and feasted under the moonlit sky. Kibo, proud of his discovery, decided to play the drum himself. He struck it once, and a deep, powerful sound filled the air. The villagers gasped in amazement. The sound was rich and resonant, unlike anything they had ever heard. The people cheered, clapping and laughing as Kibo played. But as he continued, something strange happened. His hands froze mid-strike, his body stiffened, and his eyes widened in terror. Before anyone could react, Kibo collapsed to the ground. The music stopped, and the crowd fell silent. The villagers rushed to Kibo's side, but it was too late. He was dead. There were no wounds, no signs of illness. He was fine one moment and gone the next. The celebration ended abruptly, and fear spread through the village. In the days that followed, the villagers whispered about what had happened. Some said it was just bad luck, while others believed the drum was cursed. But no one dared to say it out loud. The drum remained in the village square, silent and untouched. A few days later, a young boy named Amani, curious and fearless, decided to play the drum. He had heard the rumors about Kibo's death but didn't believe them. "It's just a drum," he told himself. "Nothing bad will happen." As soon as Amani struck the drum, the same thing happened. His body froze, his face filled with terror, and he fell to the ground. The villagers rushed to help him, but it was too late. Amani was dead. Now the villagers were certain the drum was cursed. They covered it with cloth and left it alone, hoping the curse would go away. But the fear lingered. People avoided the village square, and the once lively village grew quiet and tense. Mama Juma called a meeting in the village square. Her voice was stern as she spoke. "I warned you," she said. "This drum is not meant for us. It carries a curse, and it will not stop until it is returned to where it came from." The villagers agreed, but they didn't know how to get rid of the drum. They tried burning it, but the flames wouldn't touch it. They tried smashing it, but their tools broke against its surface. The drum seemed indestructible. Desperate, the villagers prayed for guidance. Their prayers were answered when a stranger arrived in Goma. He was an old man, wearing a long cloak and carrying a staff. His name was Baba Nuru, and he claimed to know about the cursed drum. "I have heard of this drum before," Baba Nuru said. His voice was calm but filled with authority. "It is called the Drum of Shadows. It was created long ago by a sorcerer who poured all his anger and pain into it. The drum is cursed, and anyone who plays it awakens the curse." The villagers listened in silence, their fear growing with every word. "What can we do to stop it?" they asked. Baba Nuru looked at them gravely. "The drum must be returned to the place where it was found. Only then will the curse be lifted. But the journey will not be easy. The forest will not let you return it so easily." A young woman named Zuri stepped forward. She was known for her courage and her love for her people. "I will take the drum back," she said. "I cannot let it harm anyone else." The villagers tried to stop her, but Zuri was determined. She tied the drum to her back and prepared for the journey. Baba Nuru agreed to guide her. The forest was darker than Zuri had ever seen it. The trees seemed to close in around her, the branches twisting like hands. The air was cold, and strange whispers echoed through the trees. Zuri felt as if the drum was growing heavier with each step, its carvings glowing faintly. "Do not stop," Baba Nuru warned. "The forest is testing you." Finally, they reached the clearing where the drum had been found. The air grew icy, and the symbols on the drum began to glow brightly. A dark figure appeared before them, its form shifting like smoke. "Why have you brought this back?" the figure demanded. Its voice was deep and menacing. Zuri stepped forward, her voice steady despite her fear. "This drum has caused pain and death to my village. I am returning it to end the curse." The figure laughed, a chilling sound. "The curse cannot end without a life. Will you give yours?" Zuri hesitated, but before she could answer, Baba Nuru stepped forward. "Take me instead," he said. "I am old, and my time is near. Spare her." The figure paused, then nodded. With a wave of its hand, the drum and Baba Nuru vanished, leaving Zuri alone in the clearing. Zuri returned to Ngoma, her heart heavy but filled with relief. The curse was lifted, and the drum was gone forever. The villagers welcomed her back as a hero, and they mourned Baba Nuru's sacrifice. From that day on, the people of Ngoma learned to respect the mysteries of the forest. They never took anything that didn't belong to them, and the story of the cursed drum was passed down for generations. And so, the tale of the mysterious drum came to an end, but its lesson remained. Some things are better left untouched.